things I would say, like obviously communism, or the Soviet Union gave us would be stuff like space travel.
Yeah, they did
The ability to predict weather, the ability to watch weather, the ability to have satellites in space, the ability to even confirm that the Americans went to the moon. Lasers were invented by someone in the
Really?
Union.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. The first laser was built by someone who was of Soviet
Soviet
nationality.
Or wasn't a Nazi scientist?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So
Is that an alt-right conspiracy?
Apparently there were a lot of like ex-Nazi scientists that were shipped over to make NASA.
Yeah.
Oh, paperclip.
Wait, was it the same thing in
all
the
the
Soviet
rockets
Union
and
though?
shit just came over.
But it's like we don't give credit. We don't give credit to the fact that Russia kind of like established space travel for us.
Yeah.
Back kind of thing. And,
Yeah, the dog never came back though. That's hard.
Did the dog never come
I don't
back?
think so.
No,
I was wondering. I was like, how did you manage to tell the dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so the dog didn't.
They can respond to 104, up to 104 like verbal signals. I don't think manning a spaceship is.
He's no.
It's not up there.
They
The
should have got a
missing
pig to
thumbs
do it.
kind of like.
Yeah, drop the thrusters now. Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
No, it's not. But,
It's not gonna happen.
But like, there's a few things that we use nowadays that have kind of like been an extension of Soviet inventions or Soviet discoveries, and it's like, I understand the notion of wanting to understand Soviet contributions to the world, but it's like we're stuck in this paradigm of American,
It's
like
more-
pro-American kind of
Do you know-
narrative.
I'm very
It's
like
more
like
anti-Russian.
the
It's
part
really
of communism.
anti-Russian.
The part of communism I like it. Well, not Soviet communism, but like communism. Just kind of the idea is I'm mainly just sort of like an anti-corruptionist. So things like the military-industrial complex.
Oh, wow. Russia
I feel
is
like.
usually corrupt.
Yeah.
No, I
Russia
know.
is
I'm not.
usually
I mean, like communism, not Soviet, not Russian communism, but the whole kind of thing. It's the fact that the military-industrial complex and a great deal of like arms, like arms dealings, and the fact that a great deal of wars is happening because they want them to happen, and it's $1 trillion industry.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve Bannon said this, and he says, because he's against the neocons and their continuous
But then do we
ventures in the
conflate
Middle
that?
East and
Do we
Venezuela.
conflate that with, say, just the ideal of communism? Do we conflate that? I mean, ultimately, there's a trial and error where you learn, like, okay, but the thing is that corruption unique to just that system? Like, we have capitalist societies in which that same corruption literally mirrors. Kind of thing. So it's like we do have a military-industrial complex here. We're selling
That's
weapons.
the point. That's why. That's
Yeah.
the part of communism that.
I think it's the US,
Yeah.
UK, and Germany are like the three top arms dealers. Like occasionally the third spot oscillates between some other nations like France. That's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
basically just it.
apart from obviously like the grim history and stuff, what would you say you necessarily disagree on, like say communism? Because even say nationalism has a form of like communalism towards it, where it's like it's not the individual
It's
that kind
not
of prospers.
like
it's supposed to be like everyone kind of prospers in a community or your set community or whatever.
Like I said, I'm a diet socialist, so I'm kind of like, this is where it's like I think that people.
Socialism zero.
Well, socialism zero. It's just the fact that I think that the rights of the worker should be protected at all times,
But
and
that-
like people shouldn't be exploited,
But
because
wasn't-
that's
sorry,
what created communism in the first place. Communism isn't some kind of thing that some Jewish German guy just came together. I mean, you can easily say that the Spartacus slave rebellions was some of similar, in Rome.
You see the elements.
Yeah,
and you're
you
like,
can see
well,
the elements. Like this,
communist.
this is what happens when the rich get too rich and the poor just have nothing. You just eventually go, well, why don't we just eat them?
There was also about a bunch of Thracians wanting to get home. Spartacus. Did you
Well,
say Spartacus?
I mean, he was Thracian. He didn't want to go because he went.
No, he
was
wanted
going
to go home.
north
That's
into
why
Italy.
No, that's why.
He didn't
No,
go
he
east.
went towards the coast, and that's why they cornered him.
Yeah. No,
So
he
he's
tried
trying to
to
get
go
back
to
to
Rome,
Thrace.
and then Marcus Crassus cornered him. Like he tried to sack Rome. He got greedy.
That's not what I heard.
Oh, okay.
I
I mean,
completely the
I
opposite.
learned from TEDx, so I could be wrong.
TEDx.
TED.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Not sure about that.
But I mean, as you can see, these things have happened throughout history.
But it's like, say even, again, I don't know how I didn't think of this, but obviously like the stuff that we kind of privilege over here, like we all contribute to the infrastructure. And we all benefit because of it. We contribute from roads, we contribute from hospitals, we contribute from the fucking police. Yeah. These are all like structures that we all put money into in order to kind of provide a little bit more
To
of a
be
stable
brutally
society.
honest as well, though, like I kind of feel like certain socialist elements promotes laziness.
That's another myth. That's another myth. If that was the case, then how did Russia achieve space travel?
They had they had scientists. I mean, it was
But
during
then
like the early era, and
What
the
would
fact
be
that
the
Russia,
incentive behind achieving space travel?
Well, I think it was mainly because they were very much in competition with the US, being the one, intelligent superpower.
But then did it originate from that rivalry.
I think it did, and in a way, you can even say that's definitely an element of capitalism because it was two people rivaling against each other.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. What about stuff like the laser invention?
I think you could have still had a I think you still could have had not a czarist capitalist Russia. I do not like czarist Russia. I'm not going to stand here and say that czarist Russia was good.
I can't remember who it was. Someone said
just to say on the just sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think it still would have happened even without communism.
I was just saying one of the like mythological notions that
we're about to go on a massive tangent.
The incel rebellion has begun.
No, I think they're Christians.
No, they're trolls.
What do we want? A wank! When do we want it? Never!
Well, you heard them, Larissa.
November.
I'm sorry.
November.
well, that's very scientific. Anyway, but yeah, no, just in general, the whole kind of like I guess I understand the idea of competitiveness kind of drives competition, drives you to want to go to work, etc. But then, are you not neglecting the fact that just to do right by your fellow man as well is also another incentive?
No, I agree. But
and then furthermore as well,
doing right by your fellow man is also like picking up the pace, working hard, and taking responsibility. I don't think communism really has that. I think communism, like there's elements of communism where it's like the rights for the workers, and then there's this kind of I feel like this millennial communism where they just think that we should all get free ponies.
Well, hold on a second, like regards
yeah,
to
no,
competition.
shit, like and it like
no, but it's about.
I see like but I see like people like this meme that says like profits is just more money they could be giving to us, and I'm thinking like, no, like work hard, work your way up the ladder, and then you can get more of a slice of the cake.
But then, like, I give you an example of that would be right. It's about balance, and it's about work-life balance in like life satisfaction balance, right? And London's a very good example of that. The fact that we are living in a place where rent doesn't even meet the minimum wage. So
I agree.
You can't even live in the city on the minimum wage, and then, you can say like obviously joke around and say people just want free ponies. But
that's not a free pony thing. I think.
But what I'm trying to say is like at the core of that argument, there is an imbalance when it comes to profitism from 1% versus just standard living,
I agree.
just
That's
at
where
least
the
a
diet-
decent level of living. Like you should not have to live in London, one of the most prosperous cities in the world, and live in a bedroom flat that has the toilet right next to you and the kitchen next to your bed. Like
Becoming a city for millionaires, some people say. Like apparently, some people have forecast it's literally just going to be Chinese and Russian millionaires that live in London in the next 20 years or something if nothing happens.
Well, like, is that just not free, like fair free market?
Maybe, I don't know.
Ultimately, like if you preach something, then you can't then have a problem when different faces, are the leading narrative. So I don't know if.
Peace. Gonna run through the process real quick. I'm gonna do the thing. That way we right now, I'm looking for Haiku's video. It's the first video I said I was gonna edit still. Recorded by DJ Rizzo.
Okay, let's have the first points, questions, discussions. What went wrong? I just posted why we lost. It's the same question. What went wrong? Firstly, we have to understand the background to this.
Let's see what he's talking
Jeremy
about.
Corbyn was elected leader in 2015 as an outlier. He had been involved in political campaigns for decades without
Jeremy
any
Corbyn's fan.
significant influence
Jeremy
inside
Corbyn's
the leadership of the
just
party.
lost the election.
The consequence of that is when he was elected by the new
Probably that
electoral
one was
structure
doing
that allowed members.
That's what men do. Let's import the video. There's bare things to run down, you know, if I go really step by step. Let me just do the thing. How I do my thing, and then if you're unsure of anything, you just ask a question and I'll try to clarify what man's doing, you get me? But yeah, this is how man the videos. Right now it looks like there's some just clapping. Yeah, that's what I'm done. I'm recording vlog. We use the Panasonic GH4. Well, this is the GH5 still S. We've got the GH5S. I've got the Panasonic GH4R. I'm recording vlog. So if you notice in this picture over here, it looks a bit grey and washed out, you know me? God. We don't get the we don't get the colours and the contrast. We apply that later, so it gets a higher quality dynamic range. The dynamic range just means you see the clouds, the lightest part of the image and the darkest part of the image. Being able to capture that, to capture information, the details. The more dynamic range you got, the less likely it is that you'll see blown out areas. That means like when there's sky or white or anything like that, or skin tones that's extremely bright, you just won't be able to see nothing. It'll just be one color. Guys, blown out. You won't see the details. Same with the shadows. Like all of these shadows here, if you never had good dynamic range, it would just be straight black. You wouldn't see nothing, no shading or nothing like that. So the more dynamic range you got, the better the image is gonna be. The more free you are to influence the image to how you want it to look specifically. You can dial it in, you get me? So what man do, after man know exactly what man's putting in from the video, I've got an adjustment layer. Let me turn it off. Make an adjustment layer for color correction and bringing back the contrast and all of these things. Let me turn it on and just reset it still. Reset everything from scratch. It's just the curves mainly still. And the creative tab. Some coloring. Alright, so this side looks raw. Obviously I've got a layer above. This is my it's where the logo is. Content over everything logo. And above that is the thumbnail logo. That stays off until I'm ready to turn it on and take a thumbnail picture. Alright, so on the speaker suit, like I scroll through the old timeline. Looking at the light changing. If it ain't too drastic, the light changes, then let's get busy and start bringing back the color and the contrast. I'll start with the curves. It's like art. Sticky G, blessings. Blessed. Yeah, I'll start with the curves, you get me? Let's put a 1 dot there and a 1 dot there. I bring the shadows down. And I'm using Premiere Pro. I bring up the Lumetri scopes so I can see, because every monitor looks different, you get me? When I'm trying to adjust the color to make the color come back in and the contrast come back in, depending on what monitor I'm looking at, the picture will look different, you get me? So in order to get a more a neutral, various different screen friendly type picture, you have to look at the curves in it. Like these waves here, they represent the contrast in this image. And for the standard TV, the safe zone, I think is around 85. Anything above 85 IRE. Can't remember what IRE stands for still, but this is an IRE scale here. Anything above 85 will just be like white on your telly or on your phone or whatever. I don't know, the phones nowadays, they got higher IREs than the TVs on your wall, you get me? So you could probably see more details in the highlights and the shadows than you would on your TV. But more time, anything TVs above 85 will just be white. So you don't want your highlights to go above that, otherwise you ain't gonna see no detail. Below the 0 is the same thing. From 0, you're good. Anything below, you can go below 0. Anything below 0, then it'll just be straight black in it. Man, don't want that. Everybody loves curves, man, like Mr. Prolo Colo. Come on. Yeah, sir. Man, adjust the curves. Bring the shadows down until the darkest part of the image over here touches the 0 or gets close to it. That'll do. I want to bring the highlights up. The shadows will start moving as well. Just have to keep an eye when I'm making adjustments over here. More time, I keep an eye on these waves. What would you call it? I don't even know, man. I keep an eye on this more than I do the actual image. When this is within the range that I want it to just hover around 80. You get me? Then I know I'm good still. So I bring up the top parts. And as I said, anything above 85 will probably get cut off. But there will be some things that are supposed to be above 85. For instance, these lights, they're supposed to be white. So that's like all of this shit up here, what you're seeing. All of that's supposed to be like that, you get me? So long as the faces, they ain't going, obviously, if man want to exaggerate, just to show you what I was talking about. As long as the faces ain't going like crazy like this, you get me? Everything's all up here looking crazy. You're good. So I look at the image, the final image as well, but mostly it's about there. Because like I said, the final image here, it's going to look one way on my screen, it's going to look different on yours, you get me? So yeah. Man like Witness, thanks for sharing the editing information. Respect Witness. You know I like sharing still, cause I learned all of this from people sharing information on YouTube, you get me? So I feel like humanity will advance faster if everybody just shares information, you get me? That's valuable to them and they believe will be valuable to other people. So yeah, I like to share the information still. Cause if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have learned. Never went to school or college for none of this. So yeah, I think that's about cool still. But now you see, as I said, when you adjust the highlights, the shadows get they get adjusted as well, you get me? So you have to just readjust. You might have to add in some more points to give you a bit more control. All you got to do is just click on the curve and then another point will come in. Because I don't want all of this, like, that's probably the sky. Anything above air is just clipping. I don't want no straight lines there. I want it to curve, you get me? But I want the picture to look natural. So now this chart or whatever, I don't even know what's the official thing for it, man. Vector scope. Yeah, this is a vector scope. This vector scope here is showing you the saturation of the image. You get me? And this line is the TV safe broadcast area. So if I turn up the saturation, and all of this represents the colors what are on the screen, and they start going over this line, it's the same thing like if this goes above 85 and underneath 0, it will just it won't show properly on the screen. You get me? So to adjust the color saturation, there's a few different ways you can do it still. Automatically, when you adjust the contrast, the color will adjust as well at the start of the image. If I turn it off, you'll see it. That's how colorful it was. I turn it back on, you see, and I ain't even adjusted the color yet. It's just the curves, you get me? So now I'm gonna put some more color into the image. Let's turn up the saturation. Obviously watch it. It's all to personal choice, you know. But as I said, I don't like going over these lines. Some things will go over these lines, like these lights. These are going to be extremely bright, so you should expect those to go over the lines still. But as long as the faces look natural, that's the most important thing to pay attention to. This is what people pay attention to more than anything. Faces, innit? So if the faces are looking unnatural, then you need to adjust more and turn down the vibrance a bit, because you might want it to look nice and colorful, but you don't want the faces to look messed up. Now you can get even more technical with it. Mr. Prolo says that green stuff down there on your timeline is far more important. You said the audio. Yo, Mr. Prolo, you might have to yeah, because you know all of them audio tools that you gave, and ain't had no time to go in there and look at that still. But yeah, the audio, you see what it is. If it was like if it was like a wedding, or if I was doing some serious production, you get me, I would make sure I go into Audition and clean up the audio all the time still. But because it's Speaker's Corner and I just do so many videos, I'm not too bothered about the audio, because it slows man down, you get me? As long as it's decent, then I don't worry too much about it still. But I hear what you're saying. If the audio was poor, it would ruin the whole, like, no matter how good the visuals look, it would just ruin the whole video still. So I feel like it's decent enough where I don't need to do any processing on the audio, you get me? But yeah, for the colors, as I said, you can go, especially when Premiere Pro, they got this Lumetri color panel. They went in still. You used to have to go to DaVinci Resolve, like there's a color grading suite that's dedicated to this color grading and stuff like that. You wasn't able to do none of this. You can isolate specific colors and turn them up and turn them down. You can replace colors, saturation. You can identify saturations. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So now I use the eyedropper tool on his face, and it's selected where selected here the color of his face on here, you know me. So when man turn it up and down, you'll see what's being affected. Now this is the luminosity, like the brightness or the darkness of that color, you get me? So if I want to make his face and everything, his face color brighter, you just turn it up. You get me? And as you can see, if you pay attention to the RGB parade, you can see inside here it changes. You get me? Because that deals with the luminosity of the image, showing you how bright the image is. And they usually say it's good to have the face lit up to around 70 if it's a Caucasian face, a pale face. No racism intended. If you're a pale face, they usually aim to have your face lit up to around 70 IRE, you get me? That's what you're looking at when you're looking at the professional TV post-production. And it's around 70, so you can see it moving. It's gone over 70. So around 70, that's good. So that's that. Obviously it gets darker earlier still, so you're gonna see that as we go along the timeline, the image gets darker and the lights come up. So I might have to make some more adjustments, but just for the dark parts of the clip. In the daytime, you're good. This can run for the daytime. As it starts getting dark, I might have to adjust, turn up the shadows a bit. You can see all of the information, the luminosity information is down in the shadow area right now. There's nothing like hovering around 80 where it's supposed to be peaking, you get me? So I'm gonna scroll around until I see a more noticeable transition, and then let's cut from there. Let's do a raw cut still, and start changing the curves. I'll go back into the curves. So probably from just after air still. Press C, bring up this cut tool, cut the adjustment layer in half, go further up to where it's darkest, and then come back in there with the curves. Let's bring up the shadows a bit. With the highlights, like I said, it's really focusing around the face, you know. From the face is at a decent exposure, then everything else ain't too bothered about, you get me? I want to bring the shadows down to the zero, so they're touching on the zero line. And this is all personal taste, you know. You do it as you want. Like, the more man do it, the more. Like, the colors are looking a bit crazy. You see when it's nighttime. See when it's dark. Like, the darker things are, the less saturated they're supposed to be still. So how to deal with that is luminosity and saturation. Now in this graph here, anything that's on this side of this of the scale is the shadows. As it goes up, it gets brighter. So I want to isolate the shadows, but I don't want to mess with the rest of the image. So let's bring this down. It's going to take the color out of the darkest parts of the image. You don't want to take it too much out. You want to make sure it's just the extremely dark parts. There ain't supposed to be no color in there. Same with the highlights as well still. Don't really want no light. Don't really want no color in the most brightest parts of the image. Try to recreate even this area. Let me turn this off. Yeah, his face looks better without it still. That's only good for the daytime when the light went on. Turn the vibrance down a bit. I think even the white balance still, it looks a bit orangey. So you can change the white balance. make it look a bit more natural, you get me? Needed a bit of blue. That's from the light coming. Just turned the image a bit. Is it tangent? What they call it? Can't pronounce that, man. Pardon me. But yeah. All right. So now I feel I'm done with the color correction and the contrast. Now I want to pick a thumbnail. If I had time, I would scroll through I'd watch the whole thing and try to get a good thumbnail, you get me? But I was gonna pick one at random. One that looks the most exciting. Man like James in the background. James is a good heckler. He asks some good questions sometimes, and sometimes he does bust joke. So him and Haiku, it's a good dynamic infotainment, you get me? You catch some joke and get some education at the same time. Them interacting with each other. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that one there still. So I turn off my my logo, turn on the big logo, and boom, it's right in his face. So to get around that, select the video, go into effects, zoom in, and reposition. Oh yeah. Put them all over to the middle. And what I noticed as well is when I take a thumbnail from here, it's like it makes the image a bit darker than I'm seeing it right now. So I have to turn up the exposure to compensate. So even now, right now, it might look extremely bright. When the image gets exported, it won't look as bright still. Press Shift E. You have to select the track. Select the main timeline, press Shift E, and it'll take a still image. Let's call it HK for IQ, JM for James, JMS. Okay, once that's done, we just Control Z to go back to undo all the changes that I made. Turn back on the little logo, turn off the big logo, and select the in and out. This is my content over everything logo. This is where I want the video to start from. So I press I, and it selects the in marker. Yeah, I don't think I explained what this was as well still. It's the video and the audio. I put a cross dissolve, so the audio and the video just fades in after the content over everything. And then the logo is the same thing. I made a longer one for the logo. The cross dissolve, I extended it to make it take its time to come in nice and neatly, you get me? So then I go to the end. This is my template because I run the video, because I do so many Speakers Corner videos. I just made a template so that everything's just simple. It's no long thing. I just bring in a video, don't have to make too many adjustments, and then we're just on to the next one. So now what I do, as you're probably used to seeing, I select the next video that I'm going to be editing. It's usually the next video in line. Or if there's a video that's outstanding that I know I need to get out there ASAP that everybody wants to see, I'll select that. And that will probably be the first video I edit, you get me? But just for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna pick whichever one this is, man. Have a listen.
No, I think you're missing it. You're joining the conversation late. You're joining the conversation late.
Ralph told me still that he said that the wire weren't too good on this, man. I forget the next wire still. Come like the sound kept on chopping in and out.
Now in with at least Danny Thomas.
It's not a pretty sight still.
Richard
You're gonna have to bear with all of the DJ Wizard recordings on one of the cameras anyway.
But if you actually look at
Wizard
actual
done most of the
fascists in
recordings
BNP,
this week, today.
you look at actual fascists, the National Front, BNP.
Alright, sound like he's talking about Ralph.
You look at actual fascists, the BNP, and they're like, they focus on Jews. I'm asking you.
Yeah, because Jews are more powerful than the Muslims in the West.
Go away.
Oh, you don't want to talk about that? Oh, why? Because you don't want to talk about
Man told him to go away.
Yeah?
Man take a juicy bit that will entice you and make you want to see the next video, you get me? But just a speed through. Just need to know the theory of what man's doing. Alright, so now I selected the in and out portion of what I'm gonna add as the outro. I'm gonna import that onto the track, onto the main timeline. First, I need to position the outro music and the clip to just overlap the main video that you're going to be watching. Let me play you so you understand. So the haiku video is finished. We had the content over everything music coming. You see COE watches everything. Shout out to Dave.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to
Outro
BBC.
graphics.
Man, don't listen to ITV.
The next video is going to come in there. So I'm going to insert this in between my end screen. You're going to see a bit of the video of this outro video before it goes small, you get me? So to do that, I put a padlock on the outro music. This is the outro music. Because if I insert it without the padlock on, it will just cut the outro music in half. Or it will cut it from wherever man's inserting it from. So anything that I don't want to get cut, you have to padlock. That's how come I got these padlocks. Anything that's on the other side of where I'm cutting from will just get moved over. And that's what we want. But I have to take off the in marker for the moment, because Premiere Pro does some funny thing. If you got markers like on your input and output, your overall input and output, it won't place the clip that you're trying to insert in the position of the timeline marker. This might sound crazy to a lot of people still. I'm going to go through the comments after I finish to see if anything needs explaining further, you get me? Alright, cool. So insert that. That's inserted. Now I'm gonna bring in my end screen, graphics. I'll press O to let them know where I want the video to end after it's been rendered. All right, so now this is my adjustment layer. You see it's got a little box here that's colored and everything else is uncolored. So I'll copy my adjustment layer. It copies the effects and the size, because I want to make the video shrink, and I paste attributes. It's going to paste the scale, motion, and the effects, which is what I want to happen. As you can see, it looks hella yellow, so I have to adjust the white balance. Put some blue in there. Now it might be too green, so I have to put some pink in there. Still it's too orange to me, man. Make it more blue. Now that I have to do still, that I'll have to do. But this one, so I can make more of an effort to adjust the colors properly still. As I said, it's best when man's adjusting colors to try to balance them up. It's best you look at the lumetri scopes. Because like I said, different monitors are going to give you different looks. You're trying to line up all of the peaks of the red, green and blue. When them are aligned, then you know that your white balance is accurate. Or sometimes it's not even the peaks, you know, it's around, like there's two sets of peaks still. There's the top peaks up here, and then there's ones a bit further down here, and just trying to align still. Try to align and use your eye, and then you're seeing it. But yeah, that's that still. So I think that's everything. Haiku video finishes. And get the COE globe. Then the next video that you're gonna see, get a little preview of that. And that runs for like 40 seconds. Then for the last 20 seconds, when you're gonna see the videos what you can click, it's gonna say this is the next video you can click. That's where you can subscribe to the channel. That's where you can donate to the Patreon. That's gonna run for 20 seconds. So now I need to mark the in part again, because I had to take it off to insert the outro preview video in. So that's everything. So now we're gonna export the video. Man, like, it's Ahmed, peace, my brother. And like James, it's really good that you managed to find a line that shows the essence of the discussion for the video title, even without watching the whole argument. There's so much footage to go through, trust me. And some of your videos you cut from multiple cameras and different people are working and speaking. But when IC3 came back today still, we didn't film it. We're gonna probably next week we're gonna try to arrange some discussions on the Identity Politics Forum and get the multiple camera angles going again, and then I'll show you how man do the multiple camera angles. Yeah, cause that's a long thing. That one day I have to watch the video through its entirety, and I'm switching angles, like pressing 1 and pressing 2, camera 1, camera 2, depending on what I want to be seen at the moment. But yeah, it's a long process still. Whereas obviously these ones here, I don't have to watch the whole thing to upload it. I can just upload it. Once it's up, then I can just skip through it to just listen what they're talking about and give it an appropriate title. You get me? Back in the day when I was new to this thing, I used to watch the old things still. I wasn't uploading so many videos. Them time there it was quality over quantity. Now I switched up the thing still. I might have to switch it back. But yeah, alright, so now we're ready to upload. Well, we're ready to render. That just means compiling the video, flattening everything out. So it's just gonna be one file. All of the layers what you see are just gonna be squashed into one. I've got my preset is custom, and the format is H.264. That's what YouTube likes. That's what it will stream the fastest. I film in 1080p. Man can film in 4K, but man film in 1080p because you get more. You get double the record time if you film in 1080p as opposed to 4K, and it's less stress on the computer as well when I'm rendering. We're rendering half the time as well. And as I said, because it's speaker's corner, like if I'm filming outside of the park, and like if it's like paid work, then I'll film in, well, unless they ask not to film in 4K, I'll film in 4K, you get me? But it'll take like half the recording time of the memory card. So these memory cards, what I use like 128 gigabyte memory cards. That will give me about 4.5 hours in 1080p I can film for. But if I do 4K, that halves that to straight 2 hours. You get me? 2 hours and 15 minutes. So see how come it makes sense to film in 1080p. It's just Speaker's Corner, innit? Like, I'm there every Sunday. It's not like I'm doing some one-off videos where everything needs to be super crisp quality. The quality can get better still. Just filming 4K. But yeah, let me go into my actual settings. My target bit rate is at 16 megabits per second, or megabytes. Can't remember which one. If it's megabytes or megabits. But that just keeps the quality up nice, innit? It keeps the image looking almost as good as it's recorded into the camera. The higher you have your target bit rate, the higher the quality will look after it's compressed. You get me? But obviously, if you go to like, I think from you go over 30, then the difference ain't noticeable. It'll just make a bigger file. It'll take longer to upload to YouTube, and you won't see no noticeable increase in quality unless you're filming in some 8K or something like that. You get me? So for 1080p, target bit rate of like even 16 is a bit overkill still. But yeah, 16, I would say 10 still. Probably 10 would be like you still get a good quality and it keeps the file size down, you get me? Without sacrificing too much quality, you get me? So yeah. Audio, I leave it as it is. I put some audio effects on it to just normalize. So all of the videos sound around the same. Target loudness, tolerance, maximum true peak level. And it just keeps all the videos sounding the same. But when I'm recording audio in the park, I try to keep the level at minus 12 dB. So that'll be the average audio recording level. And afterwards, everything gets normalized to just -1 or something. And you finally hear it, you get me? So we've got this published to my channel. After it's finished rendering, it should just get published straight to the channel, you get me? But what I've realized is there's some glitch, something's wrong with Premiere Pro and Media Encoder. If the video is over half an hour or 20 minutes even, it won't upload to YouTube automatically. You have to go in and open a web browser and upload the video after it's finished encoding. And I don't like, it's something that with each time they upgrade their program, they don't address that. Like it's a continuous mistake, you get me? Like it will fail every time. I don't know why, but I notice it's only if you're uploading a video that's more than like around 20 minutes. Strange. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. Like in the morning, I press something to upload that was like 50 minutes and it uploaded by my surprise, you get me? But most of the time, it won't upload. If it's below that, then it will upload with success all the time, you get me? So a man's gonna cue that. And that's gonna go to the media encoder. I don't know if you can see the screen right now. From man cues it, because this is the same computer that man's running this live stream on. It will take up too much of the processing power, you get me? So man's gonna done the live stream still, but I'm gonna read through the comments if there's any comments. Talking about if there's any questions that you want to know specifically. Let me see. Let me go back from the start still. Big up COE. COE is the best. I wish I was COE. I want to be like COE. When I have children, I want to call them COE. Oh yeah. I'm ramping still. Give it there for sharing the knowledge. Common. Mr. TYO. You have to share the knowledge, man. That's how man learn. That's how we grow as humanity, you get me? What's the history of COE at Speaker's Corner? What's going on with the live streams? On James M's channel. There's so few women at Speaker's Corner. The COE been at Speaker's Corner for coming up about 3 years now still. And I originally went there, filming wise. I went there, that there was one black brother in distress. My brother wanted to go. I thought he was getting bullied. So he was talking his thing and he weren't allowed to talk or something like that. That's what I was airing still. But obviously, I didn't know. So let me bring my camera and see for myself, you know what I mean? And then go down there while in out and then got the thing wrong. From man went there. And it's got addicted to Speaker's Corner, to filming down there, you get me? So I said, yeah, I'm gonna just continue coming with my camera. Atticus now, peace to Atticus. Respect. What CPU and GPU are you using? Also how much RAM? Let me look. Right now I've got 2 machines now. My brethren let me use one still, but the main one is the MacBook Pro. I've got the i7 quad-core 2.9 gigahertz processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM. The graphics card is the Radeon Pro 560, 4 gigabyte Intel HD graphics 630, 1536 megabyte. Yeah, it does the job still. I said -9 dBu is the television standard for volume levels. So, do you somehow, somewhere achieve all the footage from archive, all the footage from Speaker's Corner? I don't, you know, unless it's a mad classic, you get me? If it's a mad classic, then I'll keep the raws. Still. But yo, imagine I was to keep all of that. Man ain't got the resources to keep all of that footage. Man got like over 2,500 videos. If I were to add all of those raw files there, the amount of money it would cost us to save them. It'd be a problem still. So nah, I don't. But if it's a mad, if it's a mad thing, there's a vote still. There's a COE vote. You get me? The mad thing still. That's classified information, but still. It's not everything I can share. You get me? It's not everything I can share still. It's a vote still. Everything for 900 card, 1,000 card. You can cut your rendering time by more than half. Check out the splits I listed. You can contribute to the rendering with fun. Comment. Contribute to the rendering with fun. Where's the splits that you listed to? See there you. Interesting. I've always wondered how you going to keep this footage up or delete this live stream. I'd be very interested to watch this for another time. I'm not going to keep it up still. I've got one, let's say the first time I've made one still, showing my editing and grading process. I made one back in the day still. I think if you type it, when I got 1 million views in total on my channel, I think it was. I made a video showing appreciation, you get me, and showing everyone how I color and edit the videos still. So if you type in COE, 1 million views, you'll see it there still, the first one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this up still. Yeah, right now, man's about to cut still. Man's about to cut still. Respect for everybody that came along with the journey. Like someone slapping P, yeah? Blood Honey. I respect Blood Honey for the £3 donation. So they go towards the rendering rig fund. Yeah, let me know what out of this. We'll work with just the thousand. Yeah, this is video number 1, you get me? Man, you know, I think we got a good few between me and Rizza today, fam. A bag of videos. I don't know exactly how much still, but a bag of videos. He looked like he was busy more than me still. Yeah, for now, I'm gonna call it a wrap still. Because when I start rendering, it's just gonna yam up all of the resources. This live stream will just get mad choppy, you get me? So, yeah, peace to everybody, man. Till next time, we out.